excited to be here and interview Dr. Jenn Romales because she is a Lyn Pacificar art owner of the painting that is now behind her called Angelus. And she has an amazing story of coming back from a place of just being, I don't know how to put it, Jen, but just, you know, where you were
transformed.
It was a transformative experience over the years of knowing you. And we have a journey that we share together. You're more than just a friend to me. You are family to me. You're a sister to me. But what a great honor to have.
Don't make me cry.
It is an amazing honor to have been able to create this painting for you, because this is the commissioned artwork that you had me do. So I kind of want to, I'm wanting to know your journey, or at least let other people know how your journey has transpired into this art piece and how it represents your experience in your full circle, in your full blossoming of who you are today.
Thanks, Lyn, for this opportunity to share, you know, my experience with you in general in life, and how it resonates with your artwork, and how I was magnetically drawn to your artwork, and found that it was more of a supportive piece in my transformation throughout the years I've known you. I want to say this has been an ask from you for like a decade, where I initially said, I love your art pieces. One day I will own it and I can afford it, because
you did.
I said, I one day I'm gonna really ask for a piece for you to commission. And you're like, of course, yes, you are. And so, you know, that confidence in that you gave to me, knowing where I was at the time, which was in a good place, you're like, yes, I will create something for you. And I'm just honored to have your piece and have that part of my journey and spiritual awakening, and spiritual maturity, and just have it continue to support my life and its source. You know, so I want to first share with you and the audience the journey of my transformation. And it was not a pretty journey, because I was in a very dark place. And if you can imagine being in a completely dark, confused, not confident, just lost environment, where I was, I was married and in a toxic relationship. And I decided to just take the leap of faith, and myself, as well as my girls. I have 2 children, Angel and Gwen. During that time I met you, I was barely hanging on to being, a good parent and things like that. So my journey started from darkness to, be drawn and shown the light. And as I understood the light, inside of me, your pieces, you gifted me small pieces, and it started from there. And then I purchased smaller pieces. And then it just kind of, when I said it start from there, like your pieces resonate with me, I would meditate in front of it. I would, admire it. It inspired me. It reminded me of my culture. It reminded me of your love in general, because you put so much love in your artwork that I can feel it, even though you're not there. I hear the words that you say to me often, even if you're not there. So that grew the love of your, my love for your art, because it was nothing but light in my life. And I say that very sparingly because, you know, it really is because you are an embodiment of light. And when you pour yourself into your art pieces, everyone feels it, including myself. The love and the lights and the joy that you bring into your artwork.
Wow.
And so this piece here was over a year in the making. And I asked specifically, remember asking you, I don't know if I can afford it, but I'm willing to, Angel and I are willing to, you know, commission, you know, your piece, and you kind of dictate what we need, but this is what I'm feeling at the moment. And you were like such a good listener, and you definitely like how would you say this, describe your process of being a listener and just kind of putting yourself in my shoes and going through the spirits and the ancestors and asking them, what should I create for me, custom, and everything that you created, the colors from the depth of the dimensions of the layers of your what would you say these abstract
Yeah, they're like
shape,
abstract organic forms. Yeah.
right? Because
Yeah.
it's like more dimensional than anything, because it kind of like morphs you into like different dimensions.
Yeah.
And when I meditate in front of this, it just is such a healing feeling.
Mhm.
And no matter where I am in life, you could be going through really challenging times in my life. I'll sit in front of it and I feel a calm and peace and a serenity.
Mhm.
Also connection to ancestors and angels.
Yeah.
So yeah, this actually isn't an art piece, you know, to just admire. It is a vehicle for me to help through my transformation or continuously support my transformation till this day.
Wow.
And the reason why I like feel like the transformation occurred was because I was surrounded with beauty, peace, light, and all these things, of which your art is one of them, you know?
Mhm. Yeah. So how is so it sounds like this artwork, like you said, is more than just an art piece, more than something of you.
Absolutely.
And it sounds like it holds a certain space of a container of nurturance and healing.
Mhm.
So if someone was looking at getting a print versus an original, what is something you would say to that person? Is there a difference? Is it
Huge.
something to strive for? Like, what's your advice?
I don't discourage anyone to get your prints, because just the art pieces are just amazing, and they're just an added, you know, aesthetic to any space. But the actual original artwork is for you, like the client, and custom, and you put your energy, your heart, and all of the shamanic powers that you have, and all the ancestral, you know, knowledge you have into your art, that it's invaluable in comparison to like just like a piece of art.
Mhm.
It actually is a vehicle for you to use in anything, you know,
Mhm.
supportive in your life. So I would highly recommend someone commissioning more artwork
Mhm.
for themselves from you, because of that reason. It's not the same.
Yeah, I would agree. I have a few prints too from other artists, and I think it's
Mhm.
wonderful. But whenever I see an original piece, it says something different. Like it's their actual hand
Mhm.
canvas than a print. And I love prints as well. Like I think my prints have a presence. Like you said, you started off small, like getting the prints, and it's just it's good.
Mhm.
But myself as an artist, being commissioned to do this artwork and actually channeling the energy of the client and their
Yes.
needs.
Channeling the energy is a great description of what you did. Yes.
Yeah, I think that's the difference in commissioned artwork versus buying original artwork versus the prints or limited edition prints, which I'll be offering as well on my website. But I just wanted to give acknowledgement to you and the journey that you went through, which was I've been honored to witness your growth and all the light that you've given, and you've mentioned light several times in this interview about me embodying it and the artwork having that. But I just like to say that that recognition comes from the same energy, so that also comes from you, and that's a reflection of you. And so I really believe that the people who resonate this type of artwork are the ones who look for a sense of peace, a place to find rest and meditation, a place that is kind of a another place to go to in your mind or in your imagination. And when I see your painting, Angelus, and it was crazy when I was creating this, I didn't just channel yours, but I was also channeling Angel's, your daughter.
Mm-hmm.
So it was almost like a combination, even when just all three of you coming together into this piece and just this beautiful energetic portal is how I like to see your painting as a portal. And when I'm in front of it, it looks fantastic behind the 3D glasses.
It looks better in person. The video doesn't do it justice.
No, absolutely not. I'm definitely gonna do a side by side of the original photo, but hopefully one day you'll be able to put it on Lyn to a gallery to show it live in person so people can enjoy your piece.
I would be honored to.
Yeah. So thank you so much for sharing this journey of yours with all of us, and it's so inspiring. I also want to say congratulations on achieving your doctorate degree in your master's in education. So proud of you. This is all part of the journey, folks, that this woman has taken from being in that relationship to being a strong woman. I can only see her going places. I've done her readings, and I was originally she did spiritual consultations with me, which is what I still do today. But oh my God, it's like I've seen her go worldwide. You know that was in my vision.
Yes, it was. I remember vividly what you said. And I remember you saying that you will be writing, you will be traveling. And I was like, what? I can't afford that. And all these negative things, self-sabotaging talks. And, eventually I started, working on myself and self-love, inviting light in my life, purchasing things that support my, new life that I envisioned for myself, my inevitable future. And so it's the combination of those supportive actions and supportive pieces in my life, including the artwork, just really set the tone to my future now, like my current life now, which is a dream come true. Like I feel so blessed to have this life, having healthy kids, thriving kids, a thriving single mom who's making a difference in like organizations and inspiring women leaders. And
why don't you tell us a little bit about that? I don't want to talk about the artwork. I also want to talk about the success of the person who owns the artwork and how this energy just like helps like uplift it and continue your mission and your purpose in life.
Yeah, thanks, Lyn. I'd love to talk about that. My work is around corporations and building diversity, inclusion, and equity, and specifically to increasing gender, women in executive leadership roles, because there's a huge gender disparity. And so my goal, and very few of the people really have shifted the gender disparity gap in executive leadership. So I'm bringing awareness in my study, and bringing awareness where it possibly can enlighten, the current leadership of organizations to really care about, creating more diversity, because diversity overall in organizations and communities, just, I feel, are more of advantages than disadvantages, because our consumers are predominantly like half women, 50% are women. So when you're represented as a consumer, not only will you feel heard, you feel empowered to be authentic, be be you, basically, because the products that you purchase, the artwork that you purchase should reflect you authentically, and should not make you feel like you have to be, fit yourself in a square peg when you're actually a circle, because there's multiple shapes in the world, especially women. We're very unique. We are very powerful. And I want, when someone looks at me, I want to be that reminder for the women who don't feel confident, empowered, or feel like they have a voice, because I felt that way growing up in a Filipino American, culture, being brought up to follow men instead of be the leader. So I had to, overcome those barriers as I grew older. And it's just been recently that I understood what the barriers look like, because, they're invisible if you're not educated about them. Then you would just kind of like, I think this is normal. So I want to normalize empowerment for women instead of the opposite, how it's currently normalized to be subservient, to be, a follower instead of a leader.
Yeah. Great points too, with women representation disparities, especially at corporate levels. I myself am the CEO of Herbalaria.
Yes.
And in a highly competitive field, but it also, as a trailblazer, it's very difficult because there are ceilings. It's not just glass ceilings. You've got other ceilings to deal with, and barriers. I'd like to also point out that these female CEOs and corporate leaders, people who are women that are in high positions, are also in a place where they can purchase. They have purchasing power. So they drive economies and the demands of markets. They are also my number one clientele in art. So women purchase my art, or women identifying or trans. I also have the LGBTQ market that purchase artwork because they have the buying power for that, and they need representation at these levels. So I definitely appreciate the diversity and inclusion that you are bringing awareness to in those arenas and those spaces. So thank you for the work you do, and for bringing that energy and the art. Everything you do is art and is so creative. Your love and just the deep compassion you have, and I just want to say your resilience.
Thank you.
Absolute fucking resilience, if I could say, because after all that you've been through, raising these kids on your own and being who you are today is such an inspiration and a beacon of light for all the other young ladies out there who are striving to be someone or feel like they have not made it, or not even just young ladies, even people who are our age, women who are our age, who've been through a lot and are midlife, finding themselves with new purpose or with no purpose, that
Yeah.
to look to you, that you are an inspiration and you are that, yes, you can.
Yes.
Yes, you can do it.
Yes.
Just gotta put your mind to it and put yourself first and prioritize you. So thank
Yes.
you. Thank you so much, Jen, for all of this.
I have to say that your artwork is very empowering. That is why one of the reasons why I resonated so magnetically to it. And I was, every time I see it, it speaks to me. Like it keeps me on check to make sure when I'm having those crazy days that, if someone, a woman CEO or Bellaria, can manifest this beautiful, gorgeous piece that I can't even fathom anyone doing, that I feel like I can do anything as well. Not art based, that's not my talent, but my talent is with my speech and my work in corporate and my work as a mom, single parent. So like having this growth mentality allows me to envision your artwork in different facets at different times of my life. So it's never just like one translation of my life. It's actually grows as I grow into my life's purpose. And so just having one piece, even, always creates this supportive medium in a person's life, like myself. Growing up, being a single mom in the beginning, a young mom who was on welfare and who was very insecure and self-sabotaging herself and had no education for a while, to come from there and only 2 decades or less be able to raise and children well, who are thriving and get high, obtain her higher education, be able to be financially, independent and happy, thriving, and be able to help community and do meaningful work, having a voice is just phenomenal to me. I want to share also, oftentimes being in tech, I'm the only woman in a room, oftentimes representing the feminine, energy. I don't want to say just women, but feminine energy, and speaking on behalf of like empathy, for example. The characters of empathy, being vulnerable, because oftentimes, the men in the room, they have a certain set normalized rhythm that doesn't resonate with most of the consumers. And that really circles back to an individual consumer, because if you're purchasing a product or you're purchasing the service, you're giving power to that product, and you're saying that's okay, even though it doesn't really fit my needs so much, I'm going to adjust to it. Versus if you were represented well and the product represented you, you would get more value from what you're purchasing, so that it's not that you're giving so much of yourself, but you're also receiving more from that product, and it really serves you well. It's about, that's why feminine leadership is I think is just so powerful. Imagine women can give birth from our bodies. So like, we don't remember that. We give birth, we give life. Our species gives life, and we create, we support, we empower other women and people, even men, and we are inclusive, we care, we serve, we are nurturing. All of that needs to be more outside, out in the world.
So would you agree, as you talk about the divine feminine representation in these spaces, would you agree that this piece, this artwork, Angelus, represents that power behind you?
Absolutely. Because that's what I asked for. You know, that's what I wanted in my life. So I said, Lyn, can you create a piece that supports my vision for my life? And you're like, girl, I got you.
I know, that's how it works with me. I'm like, I got you.
And I had no clue what she was creating. But as you can see, it's not just pink, it's different tones, different like blues. And it resonates to me because it is feminine and powerful, and it grows with you. It speaks to you at different times. So like, I'll give you an example. One day I was just like meditating on it, and I saw an angel in shapes of within the, then that day I just needed the angelic, energy to empower me during that time, that challenging time. So I was really appreciative of it. And then the other, times were completely different. I needed to see more of like the depths of the sea, because I was just like, I need to go deeper and take more risk in my life. And so I saw the depths of the sea, where I was like inside the ocean, going deep because of the blues. And I was like, whoa, I didn't know this can take me here. And out of that, I became bolder.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
It's amazing how an art piece can hold that much energy, that much power, that much inspiration, that you can continue meditating and it keeps unfolding and growing with you.
Yes.
Is this, and I know this is this might be too early to ask, but with this experience and this art piece, would you be more inclined to ask for another commission piece in the future?
I already told you, yes. Like, it's not going to stop, by the way. It's a legacy I want to leave to my children. Your gifts of yourself in this art. It's something I want, when I get a bigger home, I wanted to have a few places in my home, and I do love your smaller pieces, but I always like, this is just like,
It's like bam in your face.
Bam, it's in your face. Aesthetically it looks amazing.
Yeah.
And I'm just curious. I'm curious what you're gonna make for me. I'm curious, like during the time in my life that I'll ask for it, that what you're gonna just come up with to support my life.
Yeah, I'm curious too, because I noticed that it changes with every phase that you go through, every change or new chapter of your life, because you've definitely entered into a new chapter.
Mhm.
And it's just going to keep growing. And I just see you going so far, like I said, around the world, and creating such impact, not only on an individual level, but on a level that is global, that women around the world will feel supported. And the energy that you receive from this artwork, you exude that and you use that as a healing. You're like a medium as well, right? So you actually use that energy to give out to other people so freely and so generously.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. And I just want to conclude this interview with my gratitude. And if you want to say anything else to our viewers, anybody who's looking at the art and considering buying this artwork.
So my favorite part of Lyn's work, plus her personality, is that I listen to every word she says. And I'm glad this is recorded, because if I play this back, maybe like 1 or 2 years from now, I'd be like, she said it, she called it again. So I am looking forward to the next art, but trust that what Lyn really channels in her clients is not something that is from her. I think it's messages coming through you that the clients maybe probably energy or ancestors are wanting to provide as a support because of love for them. That it's not that you're paying for an art piece from Lyn. It's really Lyn is being used by the spirits and ancestors, your ancestors, to project their message through art. And so when you talk about generosity, it's like, Lyn, you are generous enough to be the vehicle for those messages for the clients. And I consider your art not only as art pieces, but gifts. So if a client asked me, like, why should I purchase your art, it would be because they're gifts from your ancestors and gods and whoever you believe in and your spirits. And Lyn is just generous enough to provide that for you in taking it from a spiritual world into real life. That's special and extraordinary to me.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you everyone for listening. Thank you for taking the time to even watch this interview. It's more than that. This is documenting such a pivotal day for all of us. Congratulations again to you, Dr. Jenn.
Thank you.
On receiving your doctorate and just being that source of inspiration, information, and everything that just like is just illumination.
Yes.
Say that about you as well. Thank you so much. I love you. Thank you
I love you
for everything, for being in my life.
You.